Of course, when I raise this with our good friend John Mearsheimer, people will find our discussion about this online on your website. John said, "Well, nice idea, Jeff, but impossible." Uh, he has the idea that the big powers just inevitably clash. That's what big powers do. They will never leave good enough alone. They will never leave Ukraine neutral. So it really is us versus them because, as Brzezinski said, and I quoted earlier, it would be a void. The idea is neutrality is like a vacuum. It will suck in somebody. So they don't accept, John doesn't believe that it's feasible to have these zones of security that keep the powers away. He's not against the concept. He just says that the big powers are locked in an iron cage where they're doomed to fight each other. And his great book, which is a great book, by the way, is called The Tragedy of Great Power Politics.
Yeah.
I've always said to John, we need to get away from tragedy, especially in the nuclear age. We need to solve this, not only to understand it, but to solve it. So I do believe, of course, the ones in the middle should understand this. We should help them understand this. We should give ways to bolster that. But we really need the American people, the people of Europe. Maybe they already do understand it. This is not the road to security that we are following. My point for the United States is that from the moment the neocons absolutely took charge in 1991 in the U.S., we have had nothing but a decline of U.S. security. It's been the toughest period. It's been wars of choice. It's been overthrows of governments such as the Maidan in 2014. It has not brought U.S. security. And I cite the doomsday clock of the Bulletin of Atomic Scientists, which was 17 minutes from midnight when Bill Clinton inherited the post-Cold War, supposedly. But then he messed it up. And then George W. Bush Jr. messed it up. And then Obama further messed it up. Then Trump 1 further messed it up. And then Biden further messed it up. Every president has left the doomsday clock closer to midnight than when they arrived in office. So is America safer by having overthrown a government in Ukraine, by having pushed NATO enlargement, by having denied Russian sphere of security, by having said to Ukraine, no, you can't be neutral? And by the way, saying it literally to Zelensky in the spring of 2022, when Zelensky was about to sign a peace agreement with Russia based on neutrality. And the United States and Boris Johnson at the time, both Biden and Johnson, said to Zelensky, no, you don't sign that, you fight on. That's about 1 million dead in Ukraine, less than we have had since then. So I want the American people to understand this is a disaster for our security. This isn't that we're somehow struggling against Russia because we have to. We should be leaving precisely a neutral zone so that we aren't in each other's face, so that we have some distance. And of course, the hypocrisy of the United States knows no bounds. Donald Trump has gotten very exercised about the fact that in the Panama Canal, there are two port service operations owned by, oh my God, heaven forbid, Hong Kong companies. That's in Panama. That is Port Services by Hutchinson of a long, distinguished Hong Kong shipping service. And Trump says that is a threat to American security. But in the meantime, NATO on the Russian border, oh, no problem. Trump, once in a while, seems to accept that, but he never says it clearly to the American people, nor to the Europeans. And the Europeans to this moment, and Mark Rutte, the Secretary General of NATO, say exactly the opposite, that Russia has no security concerns that are legitimate.
Yeah. Very last question, and I'll let you go right after that. But Donald Trump decided to rename the Department of Defense back into Department of War. Do you think that we are getting closer to a moment of, let's say, clarity in what we are actually dealing with when it comes to this whole security sphere, where, like, for the longest time, especially in Europe and the US, we've been pretending that everything is about defense, when in fact what has been going on is very, very much offense and very much offensive, like war making in different various stages. Do you think that we at least get to more clarity about this fact, or what does this indicate to you?
Well, it indicates to me, yes, that it is more truthful in the way we behave to call it a Department of War, but it's also more frightening, because I would rather have a Department of Defense that actually operated on the basis of defense than have a Department of War that actually operates on the basis of war. If I had confidence that the American political system would deliver peace, one could then say, well, at least that's semantic clarity. But the truth is, the American political system delivers war. The American system is currently actively engaged in a genocide in Palestine. This is not just an Israeli operation. This is an Israeli-U.S. operation. Israel is, pushing the buttons and pulling the trigger, but the weapons are American weapons. The intelligence, so-called, to do this, which is also a cruel misnomer, is Palantir, it's Microsoft, it's Amazon, it's other big tech companies that are providing cloud services and AI to Israeli defense forces as a genocide and a mass starvation takes place. So we really have a Department of War, but nothing to be happy about with that relabeling. It's absolutely horrifying. Our Congress is completely mute on this. We are in the hands of basically, completely security state apparatus, and at least nominally in the hands of one person who does what he wants and announces it on Truth Social, and it's all very bizarre and unstable. And the fact of the matter is, we don't have clarity on any issues, the U.S. vis-a-vis Russia, the U.S. vis-a-vis the Palestinian people or the Arab nations, the U.S. vis-a-vis Iran. We negotiate 5 weeks and then bomb them on the 6th week. The U.S. vis-a-vis China. This is an extraordinarily dangerous situation. Nothing is rational and logical in the traditional sense. We're in the hands of whims, of secrecy, of game playing, as if this wasn't really the nuclear age that it is.
Yeah. We need to get out of the game and back into reality. And of course, in reality, your constitution tries to deal with that and invests war-making power into Congress and not into the president. But all of that is mixed up and messed up, and it needs restructuring. Jeffrey Sachs, thank you very much for your time today.
Well, great to be with you. Thanks.